Hey, thanks again for checking out the Moxxie magazine. If you're flipping through these pages, you've seen Zeb Smathers and his wife Ashley on the front cover. We're really excited to bring you this deep interview that kind of exposes a little bit more about who Zeb and Ashley are, more than just a mayor and more than just a lawyer. So we're gonna get started. We hope you enjoy the interview. So tell me a little bit about what you were like as a kid.
I was a kid.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I lived the perfect small town boy, almost nostalgic. Nostalgic as you would think. So at Norman Rockwell, to a degree, it was the 1990s. I was involved outside. I was playing sandlot baseball. I was playing sports. I can remember memories of my grandfather. This was in the late 80s. I still remember Smathers Supermarket. I remember running up and down the aisles of his store, and really a downtown Canton that had restaurants and shops. But then as I got older, I saw the town decline. I was still playing sports, still very involved, and between North Canton, Canton Middle, and then Pisgah High School. But at the same time, I was sort of growing up through the 90s and enjoying sort of being the teenage years and the internet and pop music and the change in movies.
Yeah.
I started noticing a decline and a change in the town.
How? Describe that decline.
I saw those same stores close. I saw those restaurants close.
So we're talking about business and industry declining.
Exactly. The paper mill was still there, but there was even a lot of worry with that. But I saw a lot of windows that were once open and doors were open for business being shut in and being nailed up. And I think when that started happening, you started also seeing a mentality take place. And I think that was the moment I think people stopped believing in Canton. I think people, inherently just thought Canton's best days were behind, sort of more in the 60s and 70s and 80s. And so I was really, even Granddad's grocery store closed in 1988. So I've been about 7 or 8 years old, and watching that and watching the stress on my family through that and the stress of others. And just seeing that decline. So as I started growing up, and sort of looking towards the future and being optimistic, I was watching the town around me change. And that was something that's always, stuck with me. But that's when I was growing up. And then, in 2001, I graduated Pisgah. I went to Duke University for my undergrad.
Oh my gosh, you're younger than me? Is that how
you told me to be honest in this interview.
How old are you?
I am 36.
Okay. Hey, that is like a massive, massive inspiration.
Wow, thanks. It's
a massive inspiration.
But this town has been very good, I think, for both of our families. We have been very blessed to grow up here in Canton, in Haywood County in general. Such a great place to be, with family and sports. I can't think of a better place to grow up. But I think when that happens, and when you're blessed and you have an obligation to give back and make it better and try to recreate and give those same memories for the other generations. Ashley, as a teacher at Pisgah High School, I hope the kids that she teaches and that are coming up, they're seeing Canton more of optimism. They're seeing businesses, they're seeing restaurants, they're seeing new energy. And so that's sort of what my goal was to basically change the mentality and have people again believe in Canton.
Dream.
And so again, experience the same schools, playing outside, doing those things I did as a kid. But now they have a Canton they believe in, but also go off to school, go off to the military, but then come back, or go to Haywood Community College, go to Western, stay local. Mm-hmm. But now they have a town and a community they can be proud of, they can live in, and they can work in. And so we have a long way to go, but I do think we're getting there. But a lot of it was based upon the memories and the people that I was around and just blessed to be around growing up.
So ultimately, your whole childhood puts you on this path. Not to say that most people's childhoods, that's kind of like the journey, but from a very young age, it sounds like you had a laser focus and you honed in on that. And now here you are.
I think you're absolutely correct, and I actually probably never really look at it that way, but I just remember the people, not just my family, but the people involved, at the church and on the streets of Canton. Those memories, those business owners, those stories, I think you just, are very special for small town America. And I think if you look around, there's more Cantons than Charlottes in this state. I think there's more Cantons in these United States than they are the big cities.
Sure.
But I mean, small towns, they're dying. And I think in some regards, Canton shouldn't be here. We're a manufacturing town. We're a blue collar town. And if you look even across the state, we're the rarity. And to have this grit of still being here, because many people, they counted us out. And for good reason, because they looked at other places and said, look, if that town can't make it, there's no way Canton can make it.
Right.
I think we're standing up and saying, no, we're still here. We deserve nice things. We deserve nice places to eat, to be able to have recreation, to
quality of life.
Quality of life.
Ultimately.
And I think the one benefit to Canton, and I'm very honest, it's also an advantage for us to be 20 minutes from Asheville. As Asheville grows and just watching Asheville change, it's coming our way. But I think that the trick is, and this is something I'm very proud of, is I want to bring in new people, new ideas, new money, but not change who we are. We're Canton. And what keeps Canton is the people, the paper mill, and Pisgah High School. So as long as we have those things, we're going to be Canton. And that separates us from different tourist towns that are all over. And those are great towns we love going to, but there's something special about Canton because it has a sense of community, it has a sense of substance.
Yeah.
What you see is what you get. And when you have blue-collar neighborhoods and communities, that's what makes them special. What you see is what you get. They pride themselves in a long day's work, providing for their families, providing for their churches, providing for their schools. That blue-collar attitude is part of the American nostalgia. But here, it's still a reality.
I hear the conviction in your tone of voice, and I love people that talk with their hands, because people that have that conviction but don't talk with their hands, something is not right.
No, it just comes out as it should.
It's like a rehearsal, right? Yeah. And so I love the conviction that you have in all of your lyrics.
Because I like to say, if you're going to be damned for who you truly are, and what you see is what you get. And
Absolutely.
I think that's what makes us again special in Canton and Haywood County. What you see is what what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things we can improve on.
Absolutely.
And we shouldn't rest on our laurels.
But that goes across the board.
Exactly.
Actually, let me ask you a question.
All right.
So let's talk about, can we be a little personal?
Sure.
Okay. So let's talk about the first time you and Zeb got together.
Oh wow.
Oh.
Are we going back into high school?
No.
So you guys are not high school sweethearts?
No.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about yourself, Ashley. Are you born and raised in Canton?
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
So I'm actually from Henson Cove, where we are now, a little bit further up the cove. And my parents own this property as well. But so I grew up here on the outskirts of the main streets of Canton, and running these hills and being outside and riding four-wheelers. And
Were you like a tomgirl or tomboy?
I wasn't,
as they would
not
say?
really, but I enjoyed doing all of those things.
But you still enjoyed the whole dressing up and...
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. So we did not go to school together. Zeb is 5 years older than me. I like to remind him that I was in 8th grade when he was a senior in high school.
Yes.
So we actually met at a wedding.
Of a common friend?
Common friend, yes.
Yeah, so my college roommate was marrying one of his good friends, and so we met at the wedding. I think I was a junior in college, the summer after my junior year in college, and had minor interactions there. And
Now the person I was dating at that point didn't think those interactions were minor, but it all worked out in the end. So very proud of that. But
we shall not drop no names.
Exactly.
So then we didn't start dating soon thereafter. We probably started dating, I don't know, a year and a half later. So it wasn't.
Oh wow! So there was
some time there.
So were you guys like chatting, or just kind of you met at this wedding?
Met at the wedding,
kind of like kept on crossing paths together?
Yeah, kind of something like that. After him and his girlfriend weren't together anymore, we started talking and just kind of went from there. And I had asked him to come speak to my civics class at Pisgah for criminal, civil, and juvenile law. So he came, and he said if he came, I had to go on a date with him.
Nice bargain.
Well, I am an attorney, and so
I was just gonna say, you know, I didn't want
to
to
negotiate. So
I didn't want to make a pun out of it.
it was one of the best negotiations, if not the best negotiation
Of your
it
life.
was my life. Yes, yes.
Of your
yes,
life.
It worked well.
So tell me how you proposed.
Oh, it ties into the story where we met. We
Okay.
actually,
At the wedding?
Our mutual friend actually got married up at Dix Creek Baptist Church. Dix Creek Baptist Church, which is about 5-10 minutes from here, and where we first met. And so on the November 30th, 2012, right?
Yes.
Yeah, 2012, November 30th, 2012. I'm always running late, even on Fridays. I may get out 5:30, 6 o'clock. And I said, let's just go eat somewhere in Waynesville. And at that point, I knew the pastor was Perry Brindley, who is the father of a good friend of ours. And I called Perry and I said, Perry, I need a favor. So I made up this huge story that I had to take, that I was doing some work for the church, and I was taking some files back to Perry that Perry had to have for a meeting on Saturday morning. I said, we'll just drive up by Dix Creek, we'll drop the papers off, we'll go eat in Waynesville. And that's what happened.
This is what you're telling Ashley.
That's what I'm telling
Plan.
Ashley. Exactly. And so I just grabbed a box of files from the office, and then made this up, went into the church, sort of, Perry wasn't there, but sort of, said, hey Perry, where are you?
And you made me carry a box.
I made Ashley carry a box, and then I proposed at the church, Dix Creek, where we first met.
And it was just the two of you.
It was just two of us.
Wow.
Yes. And then.
Were you at all expecting it? Were you like,
Not
you knew
in that,
clearly that you were
not
going to
in
marry
that
this man?
moment. Like,
Sure.
yeah, not at that moment that it was going to happen. I definitely was hungry.
Yes.
Confused
For
as
the
to
next
why we
step?
were carrying these boxes into this church.
Yes.
But we'd been talking about it and stuff, but I didn't know that was.
So that was going to be the night?
Yeah.
I did quickly ask her, because we dated for several years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About 2 years.
After the dust settled, I said, how much longer are you going to give me? She was quickly to say 6 months. So I was...
Good job, girl.
So
I told
was,
him I wasn't waiting for it.
Yeah.
she wasn't waiting forever. But no, we, July 13th, 2013, we got married at First Baptist Church, where actually both of our grandparents were members. And then we had our reception up on where we live, up on Mama's Mountain, which is right, you can't see the limits, right off of Newfound.
Yep.
And that's the rest is history. And here we just celebrate our 5th year anniversary last year.
Yeah, that's true.
From there.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So how is it being a school teacher in today's education system, I guess?
I think that being a kid today is a lot more difficult than when we were young. I think
Sure.
that you bring in the phones and the social media and the expectation that puts on our kids. It's a lot of stress and causes a lot of issues as well. But I think that because of those things, rightly or wrongly, our kids have access to more information that we didn't have, and more knowledge about what is in Asheville or what is in other surrounding towns. And it's easier for them to go do things because they know about them, where for us it was just kind of word of mouth from our
Right.
friends, not in our face on social media. Hey, someone I follow 3 counties over is doing this, it looks cool.
Right.
But I think that they have taken notice in what's happening in Canton, and that there are new businesses coming. And I have several students who work at the Southern Porch and work at the Mexican restaurant and work other places in town, and they see it and they see that it's growing. And one of my students in particular, she was talking about, right now where she works being a little slow. She was like, but it's about to pick up, April comes around and we'll be slammed all summer long. So I think they see it.
So it's very impressionable on them.
I think so.
And that's fantastic.
Mhm.
So Zeb, you've always kind of been a figure here, born and raised here, you've been a visionary here. Do you remember the night or the day or the moment where you and Ashley both decided that you were going to run for mayor of Canton?
Oh wow, that. I think I tried to warn Ashley early on, because it was important, because it wasn't, a lot of, and this is across the political spectrum.
Sure.
If you look to politics for happiness,
You're not going
you
to
are
find it.
guaranteed to be miserable.
Absolutely.
It is a hobby, if I can even say that.
Yeah.
I get paid nothing to be mayor.
Which, how many people do you think know that? It's such an assumability. It's just an assumption. You know.
I had people ask me, my clients, I said, well, who's going to be my lawyer now? I said, nobody. I am, because I get paid nothing to be mayor. I have to keep my day job. But, you know, it was always something. But I believe, and I say this, it doesn't have to be politics. It can be any type of a problem. People need to get off the sidelines and into the game. If you care about something, you need to stand up for what you believe, and you need to fight for it, and you need to get involved. It's the situations where, you know, apathy is such like a heavy fog, and I think it gets in people's mentality, you know, where it's just like, well, someone else will do it, and they're quick to complain about something.
Sure.
I wish more people would get involved. There are so many wonderful opportunities in being part of that. And I think local government was that avenue for me. You know, Dad, I saw it. You know, Dad was mayor 1999 through 2011. Through the floods, I saw what leadership meant. I saw the importance of town workers. I saw the ups and downs, and I also saw the stress it put on our family.
Right.
And I warned Ashley of that. You know, I stay away from reading comments on social media. You know, as I like to say, I take the data boys, but they go to hell's equally, because you have to. But I think, you know, we talked about it, but I've always stopped this, my mouth to God's ears. My secret weapon is Ashley, for several reasons. One, I think you have to have people in your life, no matter how good your press is, how many good people say you're doing these things, or hey, you're not doing a good job. You have someone in your life that can anchor you, that even in your highest of highs, they bring you back down to earth, and when you're in those lowest of lows, they tell you you're going to be okay. And Ashley does that for me. I also think that I always, you know, sort of like your questions, I'm listening very closely to what Ashley sees. I'm a big fan of, you know, honoring traditions and seeing the Canton of the past, but also seeing what the Canton of the future is. And if we're not listening to the younger generation, their wants, their needs, you know, their problems, then I really can't, you know, play it forward and seeing what's coming next. I think a lot of politicians, business leaders, people in general, they're just making decisions what's right in front of their face or what's easy. I think part of being good in this business is having a vision and looking the next 5, 10, 15 years, you know, ahead and seeing. But, you know, hearing from Ashley's students and the importance she plays and all our public school teachers play, you know, in shaping that generation. Because in some regards, I think in the past, we have this view that, you know, parents would, you know, teachers would teach and parents would reinforce at home. And sadly, for many of that doesn't happen. So I think teachers now have to
They're the disciplinarians, they're the educators,
yes.
they're the therapists,
The nurse.
yeah,
The
the
nurse.
DSS, they're the ones that are, they're all the things.
They're seeing it, and I think it's always, I think for both Ashley and I, in our professions, it all comes down to how you treat people. And I think again that is something where, you know, my grandfather, you know, who owned Lorenzo, who owned the grocery store, you know, that was always what guided me. It was the, you know, how do you treat people? That's how people are going to remember. And I think school teachers, you know, do that, because some of these kids, they have nowhere else to turn.
And they're completely
No
lost.
one's listening. No one's loving them. And so we're asking teachers, you know, to be these, you know, these superhumans to do all these different tasks. And to do that, and Ashley has a much tougher job than I have.
Agreed.
Because
And me too. Like, just real quick, like, and I tell this to most teachers and police officers, I'm like, you know, when I go to heaven, I'm gonna live in a box. Probably in your front yard, because of what you've chosen to do on this earth is like, you're like an angel in disguise. I could never do it. I could never, I could never do what you do, but your mansion in heaven is huge for the decisions that you have made here.
Thank you.
And when I live in that little box in your front yard in heaven, please come out and feed me.
I will.
I may be up there next to you.
You're probably going to be next to me, Zach.
We'll
share a
it may
box.
surprise some people if being a lawyer and a politician. They may not think I'll be anywhere.
You're right,
I'll be
you're gonna be
somewhere
out.
else.
You're gonna be on the grass.
I'll be wandering around.
You might have a sleeping bag.
But you know, it's so important in listening to that, and syncing that inspirational message, because a lot of what we're doing in Canton as mayor, I think Ashley does as a teacher, is just inspire people that if you work hard, if you buy in, you have a vision, better days are ahead. Travel. You can. I disagree with Thomas Wolfe, one of our favorite sons. He said, you can never go home again. I disagree with that. I think you can always go home, but you can't always leave. And so I think Ashley does a great job inspiring these, the younger generation to travel, go out there, see new places. Even if you don't go to college, you go to HC or stay local, that's great too. But travel, go to different places, visit different countries, listen to other people's adventures and their ups and downs. And I think anytime we travel, and we love traveling, but it's one of those things. Anytime we go, it just makes you appreciate not just our country but our town, and it refreshes that. And so when I have Ashley by my side and just listening to what she's seeing and hearing from parents, I take that to heart because she's in the trenches. I'm sort of in the more the public view, which I have to sort of contend with all these different things going on. But if we're going to make real change and build a better, Canton and Haywood County and country, you listen to your teachers. They're the ones that see the problems face to face. And I think Ashley and I also share, what opioids are doing to this county, and what that is in mental health. It's you see it at the earliest stages, and you can't break that cycle unless you're getting them at a young age. By the time they reach me at the law office, it may be too late. I'm playing a different game.
Right.
And so when all the pistons are firing at once, we're going to be just fine. And I think for both Ashley and I, being around some of these young people moving in, these young kids, but also some of the people, coaches and teachers and parents that were here, from the Cantons of my youth that are still around, I'm very optimistic. I truly believe that there is nothing that this town, this county, and this country can do. And that's not some just fake political fluff. I get it from the people. And when you listen to these people that can overcome these burdens, they may, they're in a school system, they may be coming from a bad situation, both education, with teachers that care, with a community that cares about them, that wants to provide things for them. They go to school, they accomplish things, they come back. Those are the people and the families that excite me. When you hear of those kids and those families overcoming the burdens and the same naysayers that Canton has, well, you can never be this. You're from here, you have this disadvantage. No, I understand that. But yes, we can. We can do better. We will do better, and we're going to succeed. And so I think we both see that around us. And so even on the days where someone may say something, or it's a bad day, or we shake that off because we just have an absolute, just deep-seated belief that the future is going to be better than today.
So let's talk about the two of you's future. Are there babies in the future?
Oh.
Are you going to be?
I think that we have been focusing on each other for 5 years, and that's been our priority, and we've enjoyed that greatly.
I'm sure.
We've traveled, we've done a lot of things. Right now, we're just trying to finish our house remodel.
Yes, we'll
So that's the baby right now.
That's the
baby.
It's a popular question, especially with ladies at church.
Oh, of course.
We'll, like I said, let's get in.
Well,
back
you guys
into
are
our
both in
house.
like the prime real estate,
Yes.
I mean.
We have to move back in our house.
Yes.
That kind of makes that makes a little bit of sense. I hope God abides by your, time frame.
I hope we work on God's time, but if God could quick, sort of speed that up by a couple of weeks, I would be appreciative. So we'll get there.